let's get started. My name is Alex Brown, or Mr. Brown, or Music Brown as my students like to call me. I am the music teacher for Arts Academy at Estrella Mountain, and I'm doing this online video because I haven't been able to see my students in, right now it's been about 5 days, maybe 4 days. We've been on lockdown because of the coronavirus, so all the schools in Arizona and most of them across the country are closed. So this is a tool to help all my students continue their vocal warm-ups. The ones I'm going to be doing, I've divided into 3 sections, so there might be actually 3 different videos for this. The first one is going to be my beginner level. This is the one that I do for all students. And by all students, I mean kindergarten all the way up through 8th grade. So if you're anywhere in those, or even if you're older, you can use this to help you out with singing. Like I always tell my students, the reason we warm up is so that just like working out before you play a basketball or football game or dance or ballet or anything like that, you want to stretch the muscles first. Otherwise, you can end up tearing something, damaging something in your vocal cords. And then if you do that enough times, it can lead to permanent damage. So just a series of warm-ups. Now, the warm-ups I'm going to be doing, you don't have to do all of them. There's going to be a lot that I'm going to be doing because I want to make sure that you have all of them available to you. So whenever you are doing your warm-ups, you don't feel like you have to go through every single one of these. I'd say if you can get through about half of them, that's probably good enough. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start. The first one we're gonna do is numbers. We're gonna sing counting from 1 up to 5 and back down to 1. I'm always gonna be starting, for the most part, on a C, and I'll work my way up till we get to about a G flat. All right, so the first one, numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, good. So the point in doing these, make sure that you hear the pitch on each different number or sound that you're making. It shouldn't be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. You want to hear the different pitch throughout each of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so we're going to move on and do what's called solfege. Now, although solfege is an uncommon term, you've probably heard the syllables that are associated with that. You have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, and ti. Now, this was made famous from a movie in 1965 called The Sound of Music with Julie Andrews. So let's start with do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. All right, now we'll move on to re. I will do one later on, probably in the advanced section, where we actually sing do, re, mi, fa, sol in that order. But for now, we're just doing them one syllable at a time. Next is re. Re, 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 re. Re, 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 re. Re, 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 re. Re, 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 re. Re, 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 re. Oops, and that time I stopped on an F instead of going up to G flat. Next is me. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. All right, make sure you're opening your mouth, and like I always tell my students, your mouth can go either vertical, ah, horizontal, E, or circular, as in O or aw. So what we're gonna do right now is the next one, which is fa. We have a couple more of these to go. Fa. Fa, 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 fa. Fa, 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 fa. Fa, 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 fa. Fa, 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 fa. Fa, 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 fa. Fa, 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 fa. Now, in the next few that we're gonna do, I might stop singing, but I want you to continue singing, all right? Next one is sol. A lot of people think it might be so, and it's common for people to say so, do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti. It's actually pronounced sol, S-O-L. And the reason for the confusion is because right after sol is the syllable la. So when you say sol, la, that L in sol sometimes gets lost in translation and it sounds like so, la. So let's make sure that we say the word sol. Sol, 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 sol. Sol, 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 sol. Keep going. Sol, 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 sol. Sol, 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 sol. Sol, 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 sol. Last time. Good, good. Now the most common one that most people know, la. La, 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 la. Now, even that is the most common and one of the easiest ones to do. One of the things that I'm also teaching my students is exactly how your mouth moves and what happens in your mouth when you say certain syllables. So for example, when you say la, what happens is your tongue hits not the roof of your mouth like some people would tell me, but it hits the back row of your the back of the top row of teeth. Right there, la. So it doesn't go all the way back and hit the top of the roof of your mouth. It hits the back row, the back of the top row of your teeth. And after that, it flicks forward, allowing your jaw to drop. So some kids, when I would do this, they would say, la, 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 la. And that starts to sound like L-U-H. This is L-A. So you drop your jaw and you say la. Next one is T. T is a horizontal one, so your mouth will go horizontally. T, not T, 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 T. Here we go. T, 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 T. T, 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 T. T, 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 T. Keep going. One more time. T, 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 T. All right, the next, I believe we have 7, 8, 9 more. The next 7 that we're gonna do, these are all sustained syllables, meaning you're gonna say it one time and hold it out. So for example, the first one that we have is E-H. And it's not it's one long Here we go. The next one is E, E, E. Keep going. Last one. All right, the next one is O, O-H. Alright, the next one is oo, O-O. All right, the last one of the sustained ones that we're gonna do is UH. All right, two more that we're gonna do. We're gonna go back to the ones where you kind of repeat it after each, with each play. The first one is wah, W-A-H, wah. Wah, 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 Now on that one, make sure the difference between, obviously between ah and wah is that W. Now that W forces you to really open up and drop your jaw. So make sure it's not wah, 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 it's wah. Not W-U-H, wah, W-A-H, wah. Last one we're gonna do is ya, Y-A-H. Ya, 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 ya. Good. So that's all doing it while we're counting to the fifth. So I call those scales to the fifth, and you can just change out those syllables as you want. The next one we're gonna do is the exact same thing, all of those same syllables, but now we're gonna do scales to the third. So this one goes a little bit quicker. So before we get to the syllables, we'll do the numbers first. You count singing up to 3 and then back down to 1. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. All right, so now we'll go back and do the first one again, which is do. Do. Do, 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 do. Now to Ray. Ray. Ray, 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 Ray. Ray, 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 Ray. All right, now we have me. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. Fa. Fa, 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 fa. Fa, 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 fa. Good. Now that we've been doing this for a while, I'm going to start to speed it up after the next one. The next one is sol. Sol is a little hard to do fast, so I'm going to do it after sol. Sol. Sol, 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 sol. Sol, 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 sol. Continue. All right, now la, and again, each of these I'll start around the same pace, maybe a little bit slower, and I'll speed it up as we go. La. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. Let's go and do T, same thing. We'll speed it up. T, 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 T. 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 All right, we're going to continue now. We're going to go to the ones that you sustain it. So starting with again, you hold it out. Now the reason I was doing it where you go faster and sometimes slower is because, like I tell the students, not all songs are slow. Some songs are fast. So they get your mouth used to opening up and singing fast or singing slow, singing different syllables. So now we're gonna go to the first of the sustained syllables, which is E-H. All right, now we have E, E, E. O, O-H. All right, oo, O-O. All right, got about 5 more. Ah, A-H. Keep going. All right, now we have A-A. All right, U-H. Good, good. Now you have Wa, W-A-H. Wa, 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 wa. 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 All right, last one, Ya. Ya, 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 ya. All right, good. Now that there's about 34 warm-ups. Again, you only need to do maybe about half of those to actually get yourself in a good place where you're ready to sing, at least as a beginner. The next 2 lessons that I'll do, I'll record on different videos. That'll be the intermediate and the advanced. The beginner one is typically from kindergarten through around 1st, maybe 2nd grade. So this is good all the way down to kindergarten, 1st, 2nd grade. Again, I use this same exercise, all 34 of these going all the way up to 8th grade. I don't do them all like that, like we just did, but I do split it up and break it up, and we do maybe half of these total. All right, I hope you enjoyed.